Change is inevitable. Our friends at Honest are going through a minor change, or most will call it rebranding. Honest remains the same, but this is the difference. They are now Honest Plumbing and Air, but they remain honest and the same quality of service. Honest Plumbing and Air, where a handshake still means something.
Wake your ass up
or take a damn nap.
And we're the three best friends that anybody could have.
It's time.
Sean, you were twerking. That's going to happen.
Murph, don't be a dick all your life.
It's one of the more fun podcasts I've ever done.
Hey, I tell you what, if you're not talking about sports in the man cave, I better not say you not a man.
That's it.
This is what we do. I love our culture. This is what we do. We the number one team. They take for a reason. Do you understand me? Yes, sir. We want all the smoke. We want all the smoke. You protect the members. You play for the members.
I ain't rapping, don't kill me a hummer. And I was cool and count.
Claude Mathis, there's not many people in the morning that I would put on a wrinkle. Well, it's supposed to be wrinkle-free shirt, a button up. I do it for you in honor of what week it is and to celebrate you competing for another state championship. Man, welcome to Stories Inside the Man Cave.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I'm glad to be on board here this morning with you, especially you. And it's just an honor to be on here.
I tell you what, your story, I don't even know where to begin with it, but I do want to tell the viewers and listeners on the listening platform, be sure to like, subscribe to our YouTube page and each of our social media platforms as we dive into this, because this is going to be real quick, because Claude Mathis has a really, really busy week ahead of him here as they prepare to play for another state championship game. I guess the way to describe your path to becoming a state champion head football coach, I got to pull up a collage that I made for you in honor of you. And I think it's here. It is right here. And just a few stops along the way. Some people maybe need something to you. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's when you look at that, man, it's a progression from right to left.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a young Claude on the right.
Yeah, that's what we wanted back in high school, man. Jesus Christ. My, time has changed. Oh, my goodness. Now, I won't forget that picture right there, the second one in college. That was against Troy, and I think they was ranked number 3 in the nation that game right there. We beat them, so I'll never forget that game. Then, of course, my boy Hatch, man. That's my dude right there, man. That's family. That's straight family right there. And holding the trophy with him, man, and I just wish I would have won it with him, man. He's a great guy and great dude, man, and he'll always be family, man. That's my dude.
I think it's amazing how we're all tied, because I think the universe and the world brings people in their lives, which we have ties to. I mean, you being from Bartlett, Central Texas, an All-American running back at Texas State, you're a Hall of Famer there. Spent some time in the NFL, but Donald Hatcher, the head coach of Anderson, the same school in Austin, in which you got your first start as a coach before going to Somerville, then to who you are now, and then you coached in college. But when you look at how you have become your career, and I know it's always these types of stories when state championship week, but the story of Claude Mathis is well known to a lot of circles. But how do you summarize how you've reached to where you are, not only as a coach, but as a man, a father, and a husband?
Well, you know what, man? It's one of those things where you continue to thrive to be the best that you can be. It's one of those things where you cherish the people that are around you and understand that relationships means a lot. And with those guys like that, it's unbelievable. And my family have been unbelievable with me throughout this whole process right now. And, it's just one of those things where you kind of try to cherish with them as well as the players because you don't know when this ever happen again. So I'm very fortunate to be very blessed to be surrounding myself around a bunch of great people in my life, as well as my family. And, Donald Hatcher's will always be one of those guys right there as well.
He's good people. He's
Yeah,
salt
he
of the earth.
Yeah, he is.
I think one thing that's unique, and I don't know if everyone knows this, but the fact that you have family and you have deep roots now in DeSoto. You've been, hey, this is your second stint. And a lot of people don't know this. When you left the first time to experience life as a college coach, SMU. But this is what I think was special. Anytime you can involve family in any shape or form, and I'm not a father, but these are two of your sons. And when you left, I think your oldest one, he won a state championship while you were at SMU, correct?
Correct.
And this was last year after you won your first state championship.
Yeah. And that's I really lost in that game right there. I broke down because they told me that they was going to win one for me. They did. They really did. Those two right there told me they was going to win one for me. And I think every dad, if they can cherish that moment right there, man, I would give them to them and let them experience it for myself, because it's an unbelievable feeling. It's you will never, ever, never forget it. And I love my boys, man, and it was just a great feeling, man. We cherished it, and we'll have that forever. So it's just one of those things where, man, I love them. I do. I love them. And I was able to share with all of them. My youngest one wanted to with me as well. And my oldest one was there as well. And my daughter was there, and we all shared it together. And now my youngest one is still here, and he's a junior, and he's about to hopefully win another one right now. So he's going to be up on him right now. He's going to be 2 rings, hopefully up on him right now. But it's just one of those things where family means everything to me. And my children means the world to me. And it was just an unbelievable feeling to share it with my twins and my youngest son, as well as my oldest and my daughter and my family.
You know what? I've got to throw this out there. You have some unique names that I really love. That unique is, it's not like you named your son Steven or Todd or even Donald. These are some unique names which set themselves apart. Do you mind sharing the roots of their names?
Yeah, they're all C's, and try to keep that in the family. And Champ, he was my first. And I just thought that, he was a champ. I really did believe that coming out. And, we thought that he was going to be a great young man and a guy that's hard to beat and works hard. So that's why I named him Champ. It's pretty much his nickname is really Champion. That's what I usually call him, but unbelievable. And Krim is from Crimson of the Alabama, Crimson side. Cayman was from a horse that I saw race. Loved the horse. The horse was a winner, as well as Camden. Now, I didn't get the name Camara. My daughter was was named her mom, but I named her middle name was Alexis. So I kept the C's in house with all my kids and love them very dearly. And that's just a tradition that I hope they continue to keep going on as well.
And there's no doubt it will. And we got to give a lot of respect to your better half, the matriarch of the Mathis household. I mean, she is like all moms and women of a household, man. It is, for a successful coach, you always hear the great stories of their wives too. I mean, it's got to be the same for the Mathis household. Dr.
Mathis does a great job. She really does. She does a great job with our boys. She's awesome, and she's a principal at the school and everything. So she just does a fantastic job, an unbelievable job with our boys, and I can't say enough about her at all. And she's a cancer survivor as well, and she's very tough. She's mentally tough, and she knows how to fight. So can't thank her enough for that, what she's doing with my boys.
You talk about that fight, and I think when you have that in a household, that really sets a foundation for your children and in anyone's household. But at the same time, that reflects in how you coach. And I think that semifinal win against South Lake Carroll, a talented team, Riley Dodge, Todd Dodge's son, head coach. But, man, I saw only highlights. But to survive that, I mean, this is the time of survival.
Yeah.
It says a lot about your team to now reach the state championship game again. I mean, what did you learn anything from your team that you didn't know already from that South Lake win?
You know what? I told our kids, and I had my team meeting after practice yesterday, and this is exactly what I told them because I noticed it, and I was looking at them throughout the game, and God, they picked each other up. They never argued between not one time there was a turnover.
Wow.
Not one time somebody messed up. The defense picked up the offense. The offense picked up the defense. They both picked up special teams. Special teams picked them up. But I don't think a lot of people noticed that. There was no argument amongst the players at all because we were a family and they knew deep inside we're going to win. We just got to continue to quit making mistakes and killing our own selves. So we got you back. And I don't think a lot of people noticed that. I noticed that. And I told them that. And you don't win games like that with arguing. I promise you that right there. Not at that caliber, especially when you turn the ball over 4 times. So I was very, very proud of those guys right there. Things that we have talked about as a staff throughout the season to overcome adversity. They listen. You don't think they're listening sometimes, but they actually listen to us. And it really paid off because if they wouldn't have, we wouldn't have won that game.
It was impressive. I mean, it's very impressive because Dallas-Fort Worth area, in my opinion. I mean, I know it's going to be a Dallas-Fort Worth area versus Houston area state championship game for 6A Division II with Humble, Summer Creek. But South Lake and DeSoto is right up there. I mean, right up there with traditional powers and like Duncanville. And, of course, now South Oak Cliff. And that's what I want to talk about now as we end this this episode with you. And I thought, I mean, to anyone who follows Texas high school football, what happened last year, it really tugged at me, along with anybody who follows Texas high school football. It proves, and I know I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but what happened with South Oak Cliff last year proved that you can win in the inner city. You can. And then who they call the Godfather, Coach Samples, Duncanville. I saw a story last year with one of the Dallas TV stations, and I've watched it like 3 times, the interview with all 3 of you two together. You 3, excuse me. But it's happening again. You guys are all back in Cowboy Stadium this week competing for a state championship. These 2 men, how have they played or have influenced you as a football coach?
Well, I think, first of all, I'm going to talk about Coach Samples because, you know, I was in college. I want to say my first year in college, and I was still a football rat like I am right now. Love football. I just love it. And I used to go watch all kinds of high school games that are around. And I went and watched him play when he was at Baylor, when he was at Lincoln. And I didn't know I was going to have episodes going against him as a coach. He coached against him, and lo and behold, the future brought me to Dallas to DeSoto, and boom, I started going against Reginald Samples when he was at Skyline, and I learned a lot. I really did. He took me to the woodshed the first time around, and I learned from that right there. But he's a guy that you can learn a lot from, and I did. I really did. He's a guy that I respect very dearly. He's a guy that I think that, you know, they don't call him the Godfather for nothing, and he deserves everything he gets. And I was so happy for him last year when he won his first title, because people can get that stigma off his back that he can't win a big one, and he did. So I was very honored to say that I know him, and I was so happy for him when he won one. Me and Coach Todd, we used to battle, man. I mean, we used to like each other a lot. We didn't, because he was at SOC, I was here, and it was amongst what people said. I mean, instead of me and him sitting down talking and going over things together, we were just, letting other people be in between us. And when the state run came about with us, we finally had a chance to talk. And man, we had some great conversations. And now me and him are really good friends right now, man. I'm rooting for him and he's rooting for me. But what a guy that I do respect for being in the inner city and what he's doing at SOC is unbelievable, man. I mean, going for 3 times in a row right now, that says a lot. But I have a lot of respect for both those guys right there, and I'm very good friends with both of them, man. I'm cheering them on this weekend. Hopefully they can win another one.
And I can promise you, if you're watching from another part of the state, or maybe you're watching this in another part of the country, Texas high school football state championship week. It begins with the 6-man, which is now Class A, all the way up to 6A, Division II, and Division I. These three coaches, really, the ratings for all these games had all these eyeballs plus some on these three men and their programs. By the way, Duncanville, Coach Sample's program, you guys got them earlier this year, but you won't be able to play them in the state championship. But what do you tell your team this week? I mean, do you need to say anything because of the experience that you guys have had?
Well, there's not much to say, but also there's a lot to say. Is because this is my final time with this group when it comes to the seniors. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is it. And I think it hit me yesterday on the field. It really did, because when you see a DJ Bailey out there throwing the ball and doesn't have his helmet on, and I'm looking at why doesn't he have his helmet on? I remember back telling him, we get to this week, you'll have one day without your helmet on, you can throw the ball around in practice. I don't allow that. Yeah. And so I started walking towards him yesterday, and he looked at me, started talking to the players. Look at him. I see him coming right there about this helmet. I know he's coming back. And I just hugged him. I just hugged him. And I said, I love you and thank you for what you've done for me, my coaches, this football team, and let's go finish it. So it really got teary-eyed yesterday with me out there, because I just realized this is the last week. This is the last week with these seniors. It's the last week with the team, period. And they have the chance to go do something special that nobody's ever done here at Desoto. So, yeah, there's a lot that's also say, but there's not a lot that's not to say, because they know it's about business and they know what they need to go do. And we kicked the door down right now. So now we're inside like I've asked them to do. So it's time to go to work.
Hey, brother, we're going to be watching for sure. And, man, follow DeSoto. And I know there's not an Austin area team in the state championships this week, but you want a good program to follow and a good human being who's really good for just the game itself right here, Claude Mathis.
Well, I can tell you right now, you're great for what you do, and you're great for that community of Austin. And Austin Anderson, I love that dearly. It's going to always be a place in my heart, always. If Trent Gregory was still alive, I know that he would say the same thing. He's my biggest mentor that I've ever had, and I love him. I miss him dearly. But you guys have a great one right now down on Hatcher at Austin Anderson High School, and he's going to do those guys justice. He's going to get in the playoffs too. So thank you for all what you do, man, and I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Much love, brother. And Coach Hatcher, I second that. He who knows, another inner city program that needs to come alive in Austin, and I can see it happening. Brother, go win state, and you guys enjoy it. I appreciate you jumping on.
No, thank you. Anytime, and I appreciate you, man, and have a great Christmas, man, and enjoy the holidays with your family.
Hey, happy holidays to your family, and we're going to wrap up this episode on the other side of this.
Appreciate you. Thank you,
man. If you follow Stories Inside the Man Cave podcast or watch Stories Inside the Man Cave podcast or watch all of our episodes, you would know that our friends at Hardo Roofing are proud supporters of Stories Inside the Man Cave. Well, they're also proud supporters of University of Texas Longhorn Athletics. So much so that they are now NIL partners. Bert Auburn has a strong leg. He has a great head of hair, and he will now partner with Coach at the Hargrove Roofing office off of Ashdale. You will soon hear Auburn say that famous slogan, Hargrove Roofing, know who's on your roof. In the meantime, if you need an estimate, call 512-645-3202 or visit the website, hargroveroofing.com. How about that? Claude Mathis, unbelievable interview, unbelievable coach. And, man, it's just amazing if you have never followed state championship week here in the great state of Texas, make it a point. And this is what I tell everybody. Even if you're not a sports fan, there's like the Texas OU game. You need to experience it once because of how unique it is at the Cotton Bowl. because of everything that's going on there. You will not find that anywhere else. And pretty much the same for the state championship week at Jerry World in Arlington, beginning with the 6-man games, which is now 1A, all the way to the 2 divisions of 2A, both divisions 3A, 4A, 5A, and working your way up to 6A. All those games, and I think it begins Tuesday or Wednesday. It is so much fun. I have not been for the entire week. I've been for Fridays and Saturdays games a couple times. It's just fun, and honestly, it's more bang for your buck. I know you're thinking, Jerry World, really, you can get something. Yeah, you can. It's you pay more in parking, in my opinion, than you actually do for the price of admission. It's well worth it. It's a great day, and take your kids or your nieces, nephew. It's a family deal. Just your boys. Go ahead up there, and just if you love football and the purest form of high school football, the best state championship week in the nation. So if you will, you can go visit our Twitter, X site, even on Instagram, Facebook page. You can see a list of each of the state championship games that begin this week for the state of Texas. It's great. And, of course, Desoto and Claude Mathis, the pride of Bartlett, Texas, baby. They are going for back-to-back state championships. And so that's a great guy. We wish them well, and we wish everybody there who gets to experience that all the best. And for the OG Man Cave boys, that being Hardball Hard's Big Mike and the Coach Mo. Until the next episode, we are out.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car.